We're taking a look at that and the aspects of films around that. Despite all of that, the historical production of film has been minimal. Somehow films did get made, though, despite the tough times of the apartheid regime, and some even took on what could only be described as iconic status. Movies such as Come Back Africa, that was in 1959, there's 1975's hit Udeliwe, as well as more recent Fools. Those are just examples of films that captured the public imagination. Well, the book, South Africa's Renegade Reels, the making of public lives of black-centered films, looks into the impact that these movies have had on the South African public. I have the book right here with me. The author is standing by, Ditheko Modisane. He's a lecturer at the Department of African Literature at Wits University, and he'll share his thoughts and the idea behind this book. And let's start there. Very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, and for inviting me here in the studio today.
I imagine that whenever an author tries to write a book or attempts to write a book, it's not an easy task. There's a lot that goes into this. There's a vision, there's a mission, there's a particular purpose you want to achieve with the book. Why did you write this book?
Well, firstly, I realized that there's still some more work to be done on the meaning of film conceptually, and also its kind of historical role in South Africa, in the country where we are in. We need to understand that South Africa has had a very problematic public sphere of politics, of social life, of exchanges between intellectuals and other people who may not go by that label. But the question then became, what is the role of film therein? What is film doing there? That is why I started the book, to try to understand what people are doing with these films and what kind of critical engagements these films are kind of playing. What is its role in the public sphere?
And what did you find?
I found that actually film does instigate a lot of reflection, and it does call publics into being. And these are not obvious publics, but these are publics that come into being as a result of text being circulated. And I treat film as an instant of text, something that is a form that you pick up and then you engage. So as it circulates, as it goes around, people watching it within the country and outside, then it's doing something else, that we might not have expected.
I like that you take a holistic view of things. Usually you watch something on TV or in the movies and you just see that. You go behind the scene. You look at the story behind the story.
Yes.
You take a look at movies, and also Yizo Yizo. That was a very, very controversial local drama. Why did you want to take a look at that in particular?
Well, Yizo Yizo drew a lot of audiences to itself. Firstly, because it's on a television platform. The genre, it's television series, which means that the people actually become like faithful audiences to it. They become a captive audience to it. And again, the way it is made, the aesthetics that is used, its angle, highly controversial. The kinds of issues that it is addressing had never been addressed in the way that it did in South Africa. So in a way, it was kind of tailor-made for controversy. And when the controversy did come, it was an opportunity for us to begin to think, what else can we get out of that controversy, that can point to the role of this television series and how we think about these issues.
And it sparked a lot of debate.
Yes, it did.
And I think it got people thinking that we're not just about our past.
Yes.
Many movies that were made about the apartheid regime, about the struggle, and that's all well and good, but there are current stories that need to be told.
Yes.
You also speak about an underlying or a new form of politics that's creeping up in the movies, in the dramas. That's not what we think it is. Tell us a bit about that.
When you look at a film like Fools, for instance, it does address issues of gender, of sexuality, of generational conflict and difference. And Yizo Yizo is also playing in that kind of direction, going to address issues of, say, for instance, different sexual orientations. And homosexuality becomes an issue on television in South Africa for the first time. And after that, we know that there was After 9. So Yizo Yizo is making possible the kind of coming of these new series, new television, stories that are beginning to look at another kind of politics, a politics that is not necessarily so tethered to the national politics that we might know, but a politics of the home, a politics of violence against women, and a politics that is very, very important about how we treat each other in South Africa as men and women, as husband and wives, as daughters and sons, as boyfriend and girlfriends.
Now, as briefly as possible, I need to wrap. I just need half a second from you. Tell me about the current state of film that you see in the country. Do you think it's where it should be? Do you think it's on the right path? As briefly as possible.
Oh, to be honest, I don't think we are there yet, and this is simply because there's a lot of energy going out there, but there's no investment in it. And I think it's precisely because, again, investors are not want to invest in something that takes time for the returns to to come back. And film is like that. It's capital intensive, but then again, it's not easy, to make a film in South Africa at the moment. And I think especially black people, have some way to go in breaking into the industry itself.
Let's leave it there for now. Thank you so much again for joining us. I have the book right here in my hand. We'll give you details and we'll try and tweet and make available the contact details on how you can get this book, South Africa's Renegade Reels, The Making and Public Lives of Black-Centered Films. It's written by Ditheko Modisane. Thank you.